Monday. We are here to keep working on our super awesome place value knowledge and how it's going to help us with the super important skill of skip counting. But before we get into our big lesson today, we are going to warm up our mathematician brains by looking at some pictures of place value and identifying from the picture what number are we seeing. So I want you to be a math detective and let's take a look. Okay, so we have bundles of sticks up here and these represent a number. So how many bundles of 100 do we have? How many bundles of 100 do we have? We have 5 bundles of 100. And 5 bundles of 100 is 500. 500. Good job. Okay. How many bundles of 10 do we have? How many bundles of 10 do we have? We have 2 bundles of 10. And 2 tens is what number? 20. Good job. And then lastly, how many ones do we have? How many just single sticks? How many ones are there? There are 4 ones, just on their own, 4 ones. So, all together, what number is this? 524. Good job. Okay, let's look at one more. Let me get these numbers. And ooh, this number is a little bit bigger. So, how many hundreds do we have? How many bundles of hundreds are there? Look, it's 5 and 3. There's 8 bundles of hundreds. And how much is 8 bundles of 100? That's 800. Good job. And then how many tens do we have? How many tens do we have? We just have 1 10. And 1 10 is what number? 10, exactly. And then how many ones are here? How many ones? Look, we have 5 and 1. There are 6 ones. We have 6 ones. So all together, what number do we see? 816. 16 at the end. 110 and 6 ones is 16. 816. Okay, good job, Super Scholars. Let's check out our learning target for this Monday. And it says, I can skip count by tens using a hundreds chart. So we are practicing our super important skip counting today, but we are focusing on just skip counting by tens. We are going to use our tool of our hundreds chart to help us out today when we're skip counting. Because our really big goal of skip counting is that we can skip count by tens from any single number. Not just with simple tens numbers, but we can skip count with any number that comes our way. So that's the skill we are going to practice today. So let's remind ourselves, what exactly is skip counting? Why do we call it skip counting? The definition is only counting the tens and skipping every other number. So that's what we mean by skip counting. The only thing we're counting is our tens, and we're skipping every other number in between. So for example, this is a number line from 1 to 20. If we're starting at 0 way over here, and we're skip counting by tens, we're only going to count the next 10. 10, and we're going to skip all counting every 10 number, and we'd be skipping everything in between. So skip counting by tens means we're only counting every 10 number. Okay, Super Scholars, so when we are skip counting by tens, what is happening is the place value of the tens is changing. And bring this up. So here's our place value chart. We've got ones and tens. If we're skip counting by tens, the tens place is the ones that's changing because we are either adding or subtracting value by counting up or down. So when we're skip counting today, our job as math detectives is really going to be to notice, look, and analyze how the tens place is changing when we're skip counting by tens. What exactly is happening to the values of number as we're only counting every 10? So to really help us understand what's happening as we skip count, I am going to bring out our original place value chart as we take a closer look. You're more than welcome to get this out, or you can just be watching. Well, let's take a look. Okay, Super Scholars, I have our place value chart up here, and what number do I have up here? What number do you see? 3 tens, 5 ones. That is the number 35. So we have 35 on our place value chart right now. And in 35, as we identified, there are 3 tens. When we're skip counting by tens, the tens place is the only place that's going to change. So if we're skip counting up, if we're skip counting forward, our number is going to get bigger because the tens place is going to get bigger. So if I want to skip count up, I'm going to add 1 10 to my number every single time. So right now we have 3 tens. If I'm going to add 1 more 10 to my number, what number am I going to get? So I have 3 tens, and then 1 more would be, what's this number now? We now have 45. We went from 3 tens in 35 to 4 tens in 45. This is skip counting up a 10, and we added 1 10 to the value of our number. Our number was getting bigger. But then we don't only skip count up, we also need the skill of skip counting down or backwards. Okay, I just reset the board, and we're looking at a new number. What number do you see up here? How many tens are here? How many ones? What do you see? I see 7 tens, and I see 2 ones. That number is 72. So right here up on the board, we have 72. So like I said, we also need the skill of skip counting backwards or skip counting down by tens. When we're skip counting down the number line, our number is getting smaller, and we are taking away a 10 each time. The tens place is going to change when we're skip counting down, and it's going to get smaller each time we count the next 10 down. So if we are starting at 72, we're starting with 7 tens, and we want to skip count down a 10. Our tens place is going to get smaller, and we're going to take away 1 10. So if I'm going to skip count down, I have 72, and to skip count, I'm going to take away a 10. Our tens place is going to get smaller, so what number did we just skip count down to? We now have how many tens, and what number? We now are at 62. We went from 7 tens to counting down by tens, and therefore our tens place was getting smaller each time by taking away 1/10. So, Super Scholars, this is what is happening when we're skip counting. There's a big value change that happens every time we are counting only the tens place. We want to make sure we know what we're doing when we're skip counting. So remember, at the beginning of the lesson, I said we need to be able to skip count in our heads from any number by tens. And we're going to do that today with the help of our hundreds chart. I hope you still have this awesome tool, but we're going to be using our hundreds chart to help us skip count and really identify what's happening to the tens place. So I want you to make sure you have your hundreds chart out and then have any kind of counter, one of your erasers, so you can keep track of where you are. But I want you to get out your hundreds chart so we can start skip counting. But before we get going with our hundreds chart, I want us to stand up, so we can move our bodies. Okay, are you out of your chair? Because my question for you is, what would you rather be able to do? Would you rather be able to change colors like a chameleon? If so, you're going to do 5 jumping jacks. Or would you rather have 8 arms like an octopus? If so, you're going to spin for 5 seconds. Changing colors, jump, 8 arms, spin. What is your choice? I would rather be like a chameleon, so I'm going to do 5 jumping jacks. We're ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is it. Good job moving your body. Come right back in your seat and get out that hundreds chart. Okay, Super Scholars. So we are using this hundreds chart to practice our skip counting, both up and down, and really be able to watch how the tens place is changing. So, what we're going to do first is we're going to start at the number 23. Fun fact, my favorite number is 23. And we are going to skip count by tens until we reach 93. So I want you to put one counter on the number 23. Can you find 23 on your hundreds chart? And then place another counter on 93, where we're going to stop, on 93. Okay, Super Scholars, as we skip count by tens, from 23 to 93, I want you to move your counter as we count. But I really want you to pay attention to the tens place. So in 23, what number is in the tens place? The 2. The 2 is in the tens place. So that is the number that's going to be changing. So I want us to skip count by tens and look at that place value. Here we go. 23, 33, 43, 53, 63, 73, 83, 93. Awesome, we hit 93. Well, let me ask you a question. As we were going from 23 to 93, was our 10 place getting bigger? Were we adding a 10 each time? Or was our tens place getting smaller? Were we taking away a 10 each time? What was happening? Are we adding or subtracting? We were adding. Our tens place was gaining more value each time. Went from 2 tens to 3 tens to 4 tens to 5 tens to 6 tens, and we kept going. We were skip counting up. We were skip counting forward, which makes our tens place get bigger each time. Therefore, our number gets bigger each time. Okay, Super Scholars, I want us to now, we're going to start at 93, and we're going to skip count by tens until we reach 23. So we're going to reverse. So in 93, which number is in the tens place? In 93, what number is in the tens place? The 9 is in the tens place. So the 9 is going to be the number that is going to change in value. So we're going to start at 93, and I want us to skip count. Here we go. 93, 83, 73, 63, 53, 43, 33, 23. Awesome, pause. Okay, as we were starting at 93 and counting until 23, was our tens place getting bigger and increasing in value? Or was our tens place getting smaller and decreasing in value? What did you notice from 93 to 23? What was happening? Adding or subtracting? We were getting a smaller number. Our tens place was decreasing by 1 tenth. 9 tenths, 8 tenths, 7 tenths, 6 tenths. We were counting down. We were skip counting backwards, and our tens place had 10 less every time. Okay, we're going to do one last round of skip counting, Super Scholars. So, I want us to find 74. We're going to start at 74. It is right here. 74. Okay, we're starting at 74, and we're going to stop at 14. Where's 14? We're going to stop at 14. So as we skip count from 74 to 14, I want you to notice how the tens place is changing. In 74, what number is in the tens place? The 7 is in the tens place. So that value's going to start changing. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. 74, 64, 54, 44, 34, 24, 14. That's where we pause. I'm going to ask you the same question. From 74 to 14, as we skip counted by tens, was our tens place getting smaller, or was it getting bigger every time we counted? What was happening to the tens place? The tens place was getting smaller each time. We were taking away a 10. Went from 7 tens, 6 tens, 5 tens, 4 tens, 3 tens. Our tens place was getting smaller, therefore the overall value of the number was getting smaller. Okay, Super Scholars, you did an awesome job using your hundreds chart to understand skip counting. So now it's going to be your turn to do this on your own. So your job is to be skip counting different sets of numbers by 10 using your hundreds chart. I want you to use your hundreds chart so you can really notice what change is happening in the tens, whether it's increasing or decreasing. So first up, you are going to skip count from 47 to 97. That's your first job. Your second task is you're going to skip count from 82 to 22. Both times you skip count, after you're done completing the set, I want you to tell me on your video whether the tens place was getting bigger or the tens place was getting smaller. So that's why I want to use your hundreds chart so you can really keep track. So from 47 to 97, were we adding or subtracting a 10 each time? From 82 to 22, were we adding or subtracting a 10 each time? After you skip count in your video, you are going to explain what was happening to the tens place. And Super Scholars, I have a challenge problem for you today. If you are ready to take your video. This is optional and you have the choice if you want to add a bonus problem and skip count by tens from 773 to 713. That's going to be up to you to determine how to do that if you take on the challenge problem. But what everybody's going to do no matter what is to skip count these two sets of numbers and after each one explain what was happening with the tens place. Okay, Super Scholars, I'm so excited to see you skip counting and building those skills for adding and subtraction